The natural weapon that follows this best is the elbow. So she's going to use the elbow over in this tie, slashing in diagonal motion, being sure to hit with the point of the elbow and not the forearm. So in this sequence, for the beat down part, she's going to 2 hammers and an elbow. Ready? Cut. Go! Oh, good. And again. Good. One more. Now what you'll notice I'm doing, because here we're working from a partner perspective, she's got a partner, person holding the pad is going to reluctantly give ground, forcing her to come forward. Now I'm programming forward pressure. So she could just use an entry tool, now I'm hurt, pound me with 2 hammer fists, and then an elbow, and then it's finished. She could easily do that. So literally the entry and the beat down was enough. But you must train for the worst case scenario. So must train to take your skill set to the plausibility of going over the edge. Hopefully you will never need to go over the edge, but you might need to. And it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Because some people out there are fucking nasty and they're resilient. So you've got to put it in there. So we break Blitzkrieg down into 3 areas, or we chunk it down. So you have entry tools, what we've looked at. Then you have beat down tools, which are usually the meat of the fight. And then finally you have finishing tools. So it's quite plausible to suggest that if she's hit me on the high line as an entry and she's beating me down on the high line, then by now my hands have come up in a defensive recoil reflex because I don't want to get hit anymore. And what that means is that the high line target is no longer available. It's here that she would stay attached to me and go low. Now we're implementing the principle of high-low. The low that she's going to go with is always going to be knees into the groin. And just like the elbow, if you're using the elbow point, you want to be using the knee point. You're not kneeing with your thigh. So we're going to isolate the knee. So she could go from a tie clinch position, which would be quite concussive. Both hands are around my neck, pulling me in, like so. And here I'm going to feed a low target. I'm going to show you the versatility of these pads. Normally we feed a low line target, pad on the normal way, down just below groin height, reinforced. Not out here, close in under your jump. It's from here that she was clinched to me on the side, put this leg back, she could drive in the knees as I meet the target. Or from a clinch perspective, she could do the same thing as I meet the target. But just to show you the versatility of these pads, I'm going to put them on the wrong way. Now I can tuck this into the inside of my groin, keeping my jump nice and safe. And it's from here, she's side clinched, she can get really good target acquisition without messing me up too much, right? So the low line tools that she would go to from an attached position, either around both sides like this, or one side or the other, she would be attached to me. Tool of choice here is knee to the low line. So the low line target would be the pubic bone, bladder, collection of dangly objects in the trousers, inside femoral, outside peroneal. Either one of these is going to disrupt my ability to breathe and my ability to stand. So understand what she's looking to do as quickly as possible with Blitzkrieg is disrupt her adversary's ability to fight. And she's going to do that primarily by disrupting vision. Because if I can't see, I can't fight. Or she's going to look to quickly disrupt my consciousness. If I'm unconscious, I can't do anything. Or she might disrupt my breathing by kneeing me repeatedly into the groin. Difficult to breathe now. If she elbows me solid in the body, difficult to breathe. If she was to punch me or strike me in the throat, difficult to breathe. From there, she may blast knees into my thighs, snatch me down onto the ground and crush my ankle with a boot stomp, as we'll see, in which case she's disrupting my mobility. If you can't stand, you can't fight. The objective is to overwhelm the adversary as quickly as possible in a proactive sense. If you take away one or more of these things, there's a high probability she'll also disrupt your will to continue, in which case she'll create the opportunity to get going quickly. So all we're going to put together is just a finishing sequence. So all she's going to do from here is clinch me, give me 2 knees, and then she's going to snatch me down to the floor. Snatch is simply taking me face first down to the pavement. She could do that ballistically, bouncing my head off the floor, or she could control me. It would depend on the threat to force parallel, as we know in combatives. Content of what you use is dictated by the context and the danger of the situation. But this is what a typical finishing part of Blitzkrieg will look like. She's going to clinch me, put in 2 knees, snatch me down, and then she's going to simulate stomping. So she's going to bring the foot up and stomp the foot down at the side of where my ankle is, not on my ankle. She's going to knee, 2 knees, snatch, stomp, and then she's going to extract herself from the situation as you should. Right, so here, finishing skill with it like 2 knees, and then get down, here, stomp, and then get down. This would be an example of that. All we're going to do now is put some tools together, and then I'm going to show you, or Bea's going to show you, how you can train it solo. So, another good way in which you should train, particularly for women, is to focus on getting away as quickly as you can. This would be known as a stun and run tactic. So I want you to think about this. If I'm here, and the only way she's literally getting to the exit, which in this case is this exit door behind me, is through me, right? Well, if she hit me in the eyes like so, and I literally fell to the floor, she could run. But don't expect that. You know, it's nice if it happens, but don't expect it. So what's most likely is she would need to follow up. So let's say in this case, she's hit me in the eyes, I was stunned, and now she kicks me straight in the balls. Well, she's just disrupted my vision and my breathing and stroke mobility, in which case now I'm totally impaired in that moment to be able to continue in a combative sense towards her, which will buy her the opportunity to escape. But here, you're going to see an example of stun and run. Right? So all we're going to do, we're going to imagine exits this way, which it is. She is going to, I'm going to hold the pads in this way. First count, she's going to eye blitz. Bam. From here on, I'm going to take 1 clear step back and hit the groin target. She's going to kick it twice, and I'm going to replicate hitting the floor. So first of all, without showing you the escape part, this is the skill. Right? She's going eye blitz, 2 kicks, that's what she's doing, and then she's running. So just to isolate the kick to the groin, simple kick in the balls, she's just going to volley the foot up. She can use the point of her boot, footwear dependent, which would be a spike kick or a point kick, coming from old Défense de la Rue or Savat. Or she's just going to use her instep, where the laces meet and the logo is on her trainer. Anywhere from the point of her toe along the shin bone to her knee is a valid weapon to kick someone in the groin with. So depending on how far I moved back, will depend on what part of that target she lands. But basically it's going to look like bam, 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 into the eyes, and boom, into the balls, on down, she's gone. Right? Just going to replicate that for a couple of reps. Ready? Full speed, full power. Fucking bitch coming on me. You know what I fucking say. You fucking towards you. You do it. Right. So most certainly, stun run tactic would be the best idea. Just to recap quick then, we looked at Blitzkrieg and we looked at stun and run. Now any part of Blitzkrieg can work. So if she hits me with an entry tool and she creates the opportunity to get away from me, she would. If it's necessary for her to follow up, which is most likely, with the beat down part, she can end it right there and then get gone. In the worst case scenario, she's going to have to fight to the finish, in which case she has to enter, she has to beat me down and make sure I stay down with a finishing tool before she can get gone. At any point, I would recommend that if you can get access to an improvised weapon, a weapon of opportunity, or a weapon by design that's on your person where legality allows, that you should engage the weapon. Here we're talking from an unarmed perspective because no weapon was available. And here we're just looking at how we can train those skills. So putting it together in a Blitzkrieg sense, I'm going to give you an entry, a beat down and a finish as an example of how we can combine them skills. So here the entry tool she's going to employ, just using 1 pad. She's literally just got to cut and put that into my face from here. So, she's going to rip that down and then bury that elbow in. Boom, and again, elbow in from here. She's got the clinch, she can go low, and then finish up from here. So her entry's on a high line, her beat down continues on a high line, and then she takes the low line to finish up. Right? So from here, couple and claw. 1, right, 2 elbows. 2. Side clinch knee, 2. Snatch down, hit stomp, hit long. Okay, ready? off me together. Right, so when she follows with the knee, from this knee position, if it's low line, she's going to bring me forward. She can snatch me to the floor, as you've seen, or she could drag me across the floor. What she can also do if the environment is confined is smash me into it. So as an example, she could go from here, clinching into the knee, and as I come forward now, slam me into this wall. Right? So from here, there's no room for me to go to the floor. It's logical she's going to drag me into the wall. So imagine this, she's side clinched, she's kneed me, and now she just drives me into the wall from where she could follow up to the back of the head. So now looking at the same entry, cup in the back of the neck with a claw and striking into the face, right down, 2 elbows, boom, boom, into the groin, bang, bang, and now she drives me into the wall. From where she could follow up, and out, and down. Right here, opposing my wheel to the wall. She's grabbing the face, boom, grip down, putting that elbow, clenched knee, ram me into the wall, and then follow up from here, or just ram. Right? So the first one we're going to see, as soon as she rags me into the wall, she's taking off. Yeah. Like so. And if it became necessary to follow up now, we're moving more into the realms of pad com. So I'm feeding her a target with these pads, and she's then going from the target to manipulation of me, my body. She's ragging me into the environment where she can hit me again, where it's my responsibility to put up a target. So as an example, let's say that she grabbed this, got an elbow here, and then she replicates slamming that into that wall twice, which is what she's going to do. So look at this drill. She's gone cup and drag. So she's gone cup and claw, breaking down, 2 elbows. This hand comes to the back of the pad now, into the wall for 2 slams. Let's see that. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That's my face. So she's just gone entry first, claw ripped it down, put that elbow in, and now she's dragging me into the wall. There's not going to be a lot left from that. But if I wanted her to follow up from here, then I would turn and give her a target to act as that. Give her a target for acquisition. Right, then I one like that. Ready? Couple of claws, grip, elbow, 2 knees, push into the wall. Here, finish up, bang, 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 and get gone. Again, one more example of the follow-up tools that we've implemented. For my feed here, I'm using 2 pads. I'm going to go from this position for a double slap to this position for an eye blitz. From here to here. So she's just going to go from here, double slap, eye blitz, like so. This position here, do it again, right from here. Her entry is double slap, eye blitz. By now the hands have come up. She's going to clinch 2 knees, snatch me to the floor and run. Right, here. One more. Yeah. So this is how we can work some entry, beat down and finish skills implementing Blitzkrieg for women in the combative sense. We're going to look at now to finish up. Going to make a transition to the smaller pads. Just looking at how she can train a couple of those drills by herself, right? So, for example, she could work the elbows and the knees, which come into the finishing part. So she could go elbow, knee, like so. Elbow, knee. And she actually puts on 2 pads. She can alternate. She can go elbow, knee, elbow, knee. So let's just see. 2, 3, 4. Good. Right, now taking 1 pad off, which is going to isolate. Taking 1 pad off, which is going to isolate. is that entry. So that nice short clawing shot into the face. Imagining that she's cupping the back of the head. So that would look like from here, like this. Right? From there she's going to rip down, 1, 2 elbows. Ready? 1. Just do that, 2 counts. Finish the second count the elbow. 1, 2. Good. Then side on. This way. Ready? Palm claw entry. 1, 2. Good. Own time. 3 reps. Go. Good. 1 more. Right, now you're going to implement from that elbow, elbow, 1 knee, 2, snatch down, stop, escape. Ready? Whole thing. So here's an example of Blitzkrieg. Solo pad. Her entry is the palm claw, so cupping the back of the head, cupping the back of the head as she drives the claw palm into the face. Ready? 1. Right down and rip to 2 elbows. 2. Boom, boom. And that replicates, she just put that elbow here, which means when she goes knee, she's pulling me forward and kneeing me in the groin. To replicate it on the pad, she's going from the elbow on the pad down to her knee. Right, so what she's not doing is elbowing the face and bringing the face to the knee. She's bringing the face forward after the elbow and she's kneeing low. Because we want impact, it's a solo pad drill, we have to do it this way, and you have to incorporate your imagination, right? So you're going to go palm entry, rip down 2 elbows, 2 knees. As soon as you've done the knees, I want you to side rank down, stomp and lick it. Ready? Whole thing. Go! Good job. Go! And of course, if you can rank someone down to the floor, you can also rank them into a structure, right? So now she's just going to go 1, 2, take this, and then get going. Cup and claw the face. 1, right down, 2 elbows. 2, 2 knees from that side, clinch, face into the wall, and run. Go! Here's an example then. We've been using the Combatives Training Gear from Germany. Very versatile for combat sport, but also for self-protection needs, reality-based self-defense type of needs, and particularly combative needs, as you can see. You can train these really effectively with just a simple pair of these pads with a partner from a pad-com perspective, and also solo pad training, if you've got no mates.